Hey, everybody. Katie Kimball here. Welcome to this live presentation on raising adventurous eaters. I'm just going to get a few things kind of ready here. If you are coming into the room, you are in the right place. And I always love to see who's here and where you're from. So if you are on a computer or on a phone, you can introduce yourself in the chat. Let us know like how many kids you have, kind of where you are in the world. And if you want to share like your kids' ages, that can kind of help me to, direct the presentation to younger or older or everyone in between. And then there's a poll here too that you can take. What holds you back from inviting kids to work with you in the kitchen? And this is just, again, a way for me to understand who's out there, who's coming, where you're coming from. And so I can make sure that I can kind of tweak the presentation a little bit to fit your needs. So yeah, super excited. It's a beautiful day here in Michigan. I'm very excited to share all this information on raising adventurous eaters with you guys. Welcome to Neha, just one little one, and Carly from Dallas, Texas with a couple of kids. Welcome to Teresa. Thank you girls so much for being here. I'm always excited to see like who's here and who comes. Big welcome to Lisa with the 3-year-old. So far, little ones. We'll see how that changes as people introduce themselves. Again, welcome as you're coming into the room. You're definitely in the right place. I see it's exactly 1. So we're going to take like 1 more minute for people to kind of get settled. You can take that poll. What holds you back the most from getting kids in the kitchen? And then I see Mary from Michigan with 5 kids. That's awesome. Welcome to Teresa's got a 17-year-old bean hater. That's okay. We all have things that we don't like. It's all about finding the healthy things that we do like, right? Ooh, welcome from Panama. Eddie, that's so great. I just love seeing the internationality of some of those things. We got Florida, we got Alabama, we got Georgia and Toronto. Eloise from Toronto hates cooking and the kids don't eat it anyway. We'll see what we can do today, Eloise. We're going to work on kind of infusing some positivity into your life. And I see the bean hater eats asparagus. So see, that's perfect. That's exactly what we want to do is celebrate the vegetables wherever they are, right? Oh my goodness, we have a daycare chef here who wants to get the students involved. That's so exciting. Oh, that's great. I love that the daycare has a chef and not just a person who sticks things in the microwave and heats stuff up. So bravo for that. Man, I see Florida, North Carolina, Utah. These are moving too fast for me to even follow. This is great. What a great group here today. I'm super pumped. Little bit of housekeeping real quick. I'm going to share kind of a link with you guys. Let's see here. You've probably got at least 1 email, if not a couple from me leading up to this event. So make sure that you watch for the one with the free gift. I mailed out an ebook called 10 Snacks Your Kids Can Make. Those are some of my family's favorite things, my kids' favorite things to make, and of course eat. And then if you get distracted, right? We're all moms, so this is very important. If you get distracted or you get pulled away and you miss a part or you miss a bunch, or maybe you're coming in on the replay and you're short on time, you can always go to kidscookrealfood.com/webinarpicky EG. EG is for evergreen, meaning it's always there, at least during the replay. And you can speed that up a little bit because it's on YouTube. So I talk fast, but I'll talk even faster if you go there. So make sure that you, again, find that free ebook. And then today, you are here for Raising Adventurous Eaters, 7 proven strategies to end mealtime madness and get your kids to eat healthy food, even if they're picky. I'm Katie Kimball from Kitchen Stewardship in the Kids Cook Real Food eCourse. If you're not out and on your phone and you're at home, try to print that worksheet at kidscookrealfood.com/eatersworksheet. I'm a former teacher, and so, research shows that when you write things down, you learn them better. And also I know that it'll help you focus a little more and keep off of like social media and all those other things. Although I totally trust you as moms to be able to multitask, right? You can totally do this, but the worksheet can be really helpful to remember things later and to follow along. Sonia from Kids Cook Real Food from my team is here in the chat. So she is a great resource for answering your questions on technical stuff and what's going on. She'll help you follow along on the worksheet if you need to. And she just dropped the link in the chat again for that worksheet. If you've got a printer handy or, you can type on PDFs, I'd love to do that too. Yeah. Oh, we've got a grandma here. I love seeing the grandmas come in. Amy with an 11-year-old. Welcome. Huge, you guys. I am going to jump right in but I got to make sure, hold on, I got to make sure I have all like my tech correct. I think there's one more thing I'm supposed to put in here. What is it? Thank you so much for introducing yourself. That is so super cool. I'm supposed to put a link in somewhere, but I don't know where it is. I'll figure it out. There it is. There's a bunch of different little things in the webinar software that I can only do after I start going live. So go figure. It's like they want me to look like a silly person. Esther, you're okay. I think you're okay if you can only see a still image. Right now it's just a title screen, but you might be able to see a little me in the bottom. If you're on a phone, you might not be able to see like the little tiny me in the bottom. So mostly this will be a slide presentation, but you'll be able to hear me talking. Diana, I see you can only see the image too. I hope you can hear me. Oh, if you can't, you can always refresh. And again, Sonia is in the chat. Oh, one last thing I got to tell you. Feel free to ask questions at any point during the presentation. Again, the chat sometimes moves really quickly and I'm focused on what I'm saying, so I might not see it, but that's what Sonia's there for. She is pulling them all into a document that I can look at the end for the Q&A. So I've got all your questions from your emails and I'll get all your questions from today and answer those at the end in the Q&A. I'll stay as long as needed. Oh, I love seeing, more people coming in and 6 kids and someone from Michigan too, like me. That's so good. So good. So let us jump right in. I got to start with a question for you. What is your biggest challenge when it comes to dinner time? Either the food or the atmosphere. Now, I asked this in email and I got such good answers. And I mean, I know that dinner time can be a challenge and also a joy. So if you are willing to answer in the chat, what's your biggest challenge when it comes to dinner time? You can put that in there. And it's always really interesting to see what people say. Oh, I never hit publish on the poll. What a crazy person I am. Sorry. I missed that. I thought I started it, but I didn't actually start the poll. There's also a poll to answer your what holds you back from keeping your kids in the kitchen. And again, this just kind of helps me to know where you're at and how to direct the presentation. I get a lot of really good answers on this question. Like I said, I got them in email. We got a lot of kids who don't stay at the table, lots of whining. I feel you on that one. My kids are there too. Kids won't eat veggies. They want to snack all the time. A lot of people are struggling with finding time to cook, and that totally makes sense. It's a busy, busy world, and it's a busy time of year here. With little ones, there's some texture issues. How long are we going to be, feeding our child with a spoon? And then the classic, right, moms? The kids say, I'm not hungry, or they say, I'm done, and you know that they're still hungry. So totally, totally regular old answers here, and I know a lot of you see yourselves up there. I got to tell you a little bit about my background. So I started out, my life with a mom who cooked kind of from scratch. I'm a child of the 80s. And so I think she cooked at home, maybe more than other moms, but it was still like pseudo from scratch. We had a lot of boxed stuff around and going into the meals that she was cooking homemade. So when I became a real adult and got married pretty young right out of college, I really wanted to cook well, right? I really wanted to cook well and be like a good housekeeper because that's like me, I'm a perfectionist, right? So I want to do everything amazing. And I totally stunk at it. We had jokes about burnt biscuit bottoms with the canned biscuits, you guys. I would put the canned biscuits on the cookie sheet and they'd come out with burnt. I could not even cook stuff that other people pretty much made for me. It was terrible. We did a lot of Hamburger Helper, a lot of bottled dressings and stuff. And it wasn't until we got pregnant with our first child that I started to learn more about the importance of real food. And that kind of began a tumble through of just learning and growing. And it was these kids that really, again, motivated me to care about what we were putting in our mouths and to care about real food. I have 4 kids. Paul just turned 13. Oh my gosh, I'm a mom of a teenager. You guys help me, pray for me. But he's awesome, actually. He's great. Leah is 9, almost 10. John is 6, and Gabe, that little cutie there, is 3. They bring a lot of joy to our lives and a lot of chaos. And I wanted to share these pictures because, it's a really cute picture, right? It looks almost Pinterest perfect. But I got to tell you, in this world where we see a lot of other people's perfect lives on Facebook and we see Pinterest perfect food, it's rarely that way behind the scenes. So this is my neighbor's porch who decorated it awesome. And my other neighbor snapped the picture, right? Like that's it. This is nothing fancy. And I just want to encourage you that, when you invite your kids into the kitchen or you try to get them to eat better, sometimes we have a Pinterest perfect expectation. And we've got to get rid of that expectation for ourselves and realize that life is messy. It will never look like Pinterest. Kids are messy. Their food will definitely never look like you see on a blog or on Pinterest, but that's okay because it's all about the love of a family and maybe just borrowing your neighbor's porch because you have no decorating skills, right? Fake it till you make it, moms. As I began cooking better, I have the heart of a teacher, and I really wanted to share this with other people. So Kitchen Stewardship has been my online home for the last 9 years. My mission there is to help families stay healthy without going crazy. But and to balance what I call the 4 pillars of kitchen stewardship, right? I'm helping moms balance their health, their environment, their budget, and their time. And this is a tricky thing to do. And more I heard moms say, I never learned to cook. So I really want to be healthy, but this is hard. It's really challenging to learn as an adult. And I realized that if we don't back it up to the generation of our children, we're always going to be having adults who are saying, oh, I never learned to cook. I really want to be healthy, but I don't know how. So I thought, I'm a teacher. I've got all these kids. Like, I have got to do this. I've got to figure out how to not only teach my own children to cook, but push this out into the world and get kids in the kitchen, get them comfortable with food, get them loving their vegetables. And so that's where Kids Cook Real Food, kind of grew out of, was this passion to really help people get healthy and stay healthy. I think about, my own childhood and what I remember. I don't always remember that much, right? I have little flashes of memory. I remember like kissing Brian M. in the sandbox at kindergarten. Apparently that's the kind of kindergartner I was, right? And I remember like when I was 3, I split my lip and I had to get stitches and there was like stinky cloth covering my face. And I remember the meal that I ate with my face all swollen up and like poking pieces of hamburger and potato chips in the other side of my mouth that wasn't swollen up. Like such strong memories. And I have this really cool memory from kindergarten when we did this like experiential activity with taste, and we had to taste things that were sweet and sour and salty and bitter, right? And it's crazy like that I remember that so well. I think it was my first experience probably with bitter, both the word and the sensation. Like I wasn't a fan, most kids aren't, but I'll never forget it. And what this tells me really is that food and taste and our senses really matter, right? They make a big impression and they last. And I hope my kids' memories are positive when it comes to food, right? I hope that my kids remember picking strawberries, like that top picture, and picking blueberries and being able to eat all the fruit they want for one glorious day, each summer, each type of fruit. I hope they remember like the moments when like my 6-year-old there, he's so proud of his plate of vegetables that it was so colorful. He was like, Mom, can you take a picture and put it on Instagram? And like, I hope that's what they remember, is like their sense of pride and their sense of happiness and sense of family around food, right? So again, that's totally what I want for you too. And that's why I have tons of tips for you. And here they come down the fire hose. Here is a little peek at what you'll learn today, now that you know a little about me. I got to start with a reminder every parent of young children need to hear. All of you whose kids are like 5 and under, listen up in the next 2 minutes. And then we're going to talk about 2 ways parents don't even realize they're sabotaging healthy eating. You might see yourself in those, you might not. That's okay. We're putting it all behind us today and starting afresh. The title of the talk, of course, is 7 Proven Strategies to Make Family Mealtimes Peaceful for you and your heart, and for those kids to be eating better. That makes you feel good. One of the strategies is 3 choices to give your kids so they think they're in control. We know that we always are, though. We're going to go talk about the biggest mistake parents make. It's one that I had to work through because I was making it. The 3-step superpower process to teach kids in the kitchen that people are also using outside of the kitchen. Ooh, I see some dads coming in and someone from England and someone who doesn't even have kids yet. Sorry, this chat like totally distracted me because that's so cool, you guys. Oh, we're all here because we want our families to eat healthier, and I love it. Lastly, as a teacher of a kids cooking class, we are going to talk today about how to teach kids to use knives safely, because this freaks parents out, but it's so important in the kitchen. Do not miss the sneak peek of our course and the special gift I have for you today. Okay, let's get that chat rolling again. What are you most excited to learn today? I cannot wait to hear. And I guarantee you that you will learn a lot. By the end, here's my promise for you. You'll have tools in your toolbox for every meal. And by toolbox, I mean like phrases you can just pull out without thinking, because we think too much. We're so tired by the end of the day. We just need phrases that we can remember and throw out there at our kids that work. That's what you'll get today. You will feel confident serving healthy meals. My goal for you is no more short order cooking by the end of today. You will want to get your kids in the kitchen. That is my goal. If you're not cool with that, you might not be in the right place, because we want to get those kids involved with food. And again, definitely stay for that knife preview, because I have a special little gift for you. Ooh, I love watching these answers come in, teaching kids to cook, how to get the kids fired up to prepare healthy meals, eat more and more healthy food. Sylvia, love it. Okay, here's my little soapbox, my little like hug through the screen for all of you whose kids are 5 and under. And I just want you to breathe, because so many of you talk to me in email and say, I started out well, I fed my baby the healthy baby food and the vegetables, and they were great eaters, and I was so proud, and I was a good mom, and then they turned 2, and it all went crazy. They're picky. What is going on? And if this is your experience, oh, ladies, I feel ya. So what I want to tell you is a reassurance that, quite honestly, almost every child between the ages of 2 and 5 will have a picky phase. They don't all get super picky, but they almost all have a picky phase. And there are very good developmental reasons for that. I might have jumped ahead a little bit here. Hold on. So again, between the ages of 2 and 5, kids are learning about their world. They're trying to expand their boundaries, trying new things. They're testing those boundaries, right? Moms and dads, you guys know those 2 to 5-year-old kids are testing. And they're really trying to figure out where they have control. What am I in charge of, and what is mom and dad in charge of? Because it feels like mom and dad are in charge of everything, but I really need to figure this out, right? So that's why they seem picky. Ages 2 to 5 kids are learning about their world, testing their boundaries, figuring out where they have control. That all can turn into saying no to certain foods, not because they don't like them, but because they are growing into their own person. Okay, so wait until they're 6. That's my tip for you, moms and dads. If you've got a child between 2 and 5, just be consistent and wait until they're 6. And most likely, they'll turn a page back. My fingers are crossed for you. Okay, now we're going to stay totally positive except for this part. We got to talk a little bit about how parents do sabotage healthy eating sometimes. And we use words like, he's a picky eater, she won't eat it, they won't even try it, or he only likes bland foods. We get in these habits of just allowing ourselves to say what I call failing words. These are failing words. If this is what you expect from your child, it may be what you get from your child, and it may impact the way you behave. Little story about this. We have friends of the family who, the mom, the dad, the big sister, they all told me, oh my goodness, he is such a picky eater. He only likes bland foods, that last one. And then I saw the child running around with these fire Cheetos and sour cream and onion Pringles. I was like, that's not bland food. I think he's hosing them. Right? They felt like he only liked bland foods, when in reality, he kind of has, they're finally learning now, he has a processing thing where he really needs a lot of stimulation, whether it's jumping up and down in his body or eating really spicy food. So I keep saying, put the hot sauce on the broccoli. We'll see. I don't know how this story will end yet, but the point is sometimes we use failing words and we have such low expectations for our kids that our actions fit that. So today, if you ever hear yourself saying words like that, he will never eat it, oh, she doesn't like that, oh, they don't need to try it, get out that eraser, okay? Trust that your children can grow. They are not going to be 5 years old forever. They're not going to be 10-year-olds forever, and they can grow and they can change. So we always want to leave that open and make sure that they understand that we expect them to eat. Also, gotta say this, it's up to you to set the example. So please make sure that you are eating healthy food, or at least, setting the example of trying, right? My husband and I both have foods that we don't love. I don't love tomatoes. He doesn't love cucumbers or fish, but he will, at least once a year, he'll try cucumbers. He really hates them. Isn't that weird? Cucumbers don't even hardly taste like anything. My kids think it's hilarious. They're like, Dad, you gotta have cucumbers. But he knows, like, the cucumbers, like, there's lots of other vegetables. But fish is something that's so good for you, right? And so he will eat fish pretty much weekly. And the kids know he doesn't like it. And what a great example to see him, you know, piling the hot sauce on, but still eating it because he knows it's good for him. And they see that, right? So it is up to us to set the example through our actions and through our words. And that's really super important. All right, here's a little more dinner sabotage. The second way parents can sabotage dinner is this guy. Do you guys know who this guy is? Yeah, he is a short order cook. This is when moms and dads are making more than one meal, one for the adults, one for the kids, or one for the adults, one for the daughter, one for the son. This has got to stop. And there are ways to make it stop, I promise. I got a little story about my good friend in the neighborhood here. She's a little plucky, a little sarcastic, a little hard-edged, which is why we're great friends. We're very direct with each other. And she's direct with her kids too. And so a couple years ago, her girls were like 4 and 6, 3 and 5 maybe. She decided, she's a really good cook and she cooks most things from scratch. And she's like, you know, this is kind of dumb that I'm still using the boxed mac and cheese. Like, I don't think this is probably good for my kids. I'm going to make homemade mac and cheese. I will like it better. I know I can make really good homemade mac. So she makes homemade mac and cheese, serves it at the table. And of course, you know, like, it went really well, right? The kids said, oh, Mom, this is wonderful. No. Of course, it went horribly. The kids whined, they cried, they threw temper tantrums. They said, what is this? I don't like it. And she said, this is dinner. And you can eat it, and you can have this vegetable on the side, and I'll see you in the morning for breakfast. And my friend, of course, was not deterred. A month later, she made the same homemade mac and cheese recipe and served it again, and it still didn't go well. They still whined, they still fussed, they still complained. How annoying is that? All of you are probably like cringing just thinking about it. But it was a little bit less. And the next month, she served it again, and the whining, crying, and complaining was a little bit less again. Because of her consistency and persistence, she easily serves homemade mac and cheese now. Her girls really don't even remember that they used to have the box in their house. And that's because she created a new normal. Okay? It takes parents being more stubborn than their kids, but we can do it. We can create a new normal by simply making it so, by simply continuing to serve the foods that we expect our children to eat. If you're following along on the worksheet, again, just a reminder, we're going to get rid of those losing words. We're not going to be short order cooks. We're getting out the eraser for those habits. And we really can, I promise, create a new normal. Now, a quick overview on the positivity, right? We're going to get rid of our bad habits. Now we're going to set up some amazing new habits. And our 7 strategies are going to start with snack time. They're going to move on to phrases for trying new foods. We're going to talk a little bit about the super picky eaters and 3 winning offers we can give them. Why the end of the meal is not clean your plate before dessert. And then we back up a little bit to the pregame pep talk, doing something crazy and bridging the gap. The first 4, again, are setting up really good habits that can replace bad habits. And the next 3 are like more advanced strategies for getting those kids to eat. Now, please type in the chat. Are you ready for these tips? Does your household need them? Just give me a yeah or a yeehaw or an amen or whatever you would say wherever you are from. And I love it. I love it. I am so ready to. Okay. Tip number 1. And again, this is on your worksheet if you've got it. The snack time rule is very important. I always tell parents a good dinner starts at snack time. Sounds a little weird, but you will see what I mean in just a second. First, the first snack time rule is that you've got to have at least 90 minutes between a meal and a snack. That's on either side of the meal. That means you want kids to be hungry as they're coming up to dinner, right? Better 2 hours, moms and dads, by the way. It's better to have even 2 hours between when they end eating their snack and when they begin their meal. There are many reasons for this. First of all, of course, we really do want them to be hungry. We want them to come to the table ready to eat and ready to eat the healthy food. If they're snacking, that's when you hear, I'm not hungry, and the kids know they can get away with not eating their food. Also, even physiologically, there's a really good reason to have a time of not eating, okay? Our stomachs digest best when our mouths are not working. So our mouths have their job, they eat their snack, the mouth eats the meal, and we swallow, and then our digestive system really needs about 90 minutes to 2 hours to do its job best. If we start eating again at like the top end of the digestive system, the bottom end is like, whoa, wait, nope, you seem busy. I'll stop. And so we're not even digesting our food well if we don't have time where we're not eating. So snacking all day long is going to kill your meals for sure. You also want to make sure that you have only just one snack between meals. That's the only way to keep that 90-minute rule. Okay, one snack between meals. We tell our kids that, this is snack time. If you miss it, I'm very sorry. I hope you're here. This is our snack. So you really do want to structure snack. Remember that you are the parents, and no matter how often your kids ask for food, you can create a new normal with snack time, right? You're going to have space between snacks and meals. You're going to have one snack between meals. Here's a big one, moms and dads: no seconds on snacks. We tell our kids, they love their snacks, right? Oh, can I have more? And you think, well, it's a healthy snack. Sure, why not? No, they cannot have more because they will get full and they won't be hungry for dinner, which is also healthy. So when my kids say, can I have more? I say, oh, remember, no seconds on snacks. It's just a toolbox term. I whip it out. It's not judgmental. It's not yelly. Sometimes it's yelly if I'm frustrated, but yeah, we all have weaknesses, right? But we just say, oh, sorry, no seconds on snacks. We'll have dinner at X time, or we'll have lunch at X time. As long as kids know that you will feed them again, they're usually okay with that. And we'll talk about some good snacking ideas in the Q&A too, Joy. I see that. We want healthy options most of the time. If you have a cookie once a week for snack, it's not going to kill your kids. But we do want to focus on fruits, vegetables, things with protein and healthy fat like nuts, maybe whole grain homemade crackers. And again, we can get a little bit deeper into healthy options during the Q&A. This gets tricky with schedules sometimes. If kids are getting off the bus at 4:30 and you like to eat dinner at 5:30, there is no after school snack. There cannot be, or you will sabotage dinner. To help you remember this, I call it the MS90, one and done. So meal snack 90 and one and done. Only one snack between each meal and only one serving of each snack. By the way, the snacks can't happen right after dinner either, okay? If kids know that they can leave the table still pretty hungry because they didn't like dinner and come back 15 to 30 minutes later and they get fed again, they quickly learn that they don't have to eat their dinner, right? Because they'll get fed again. So there's got to be 90 minutes after the meal too. If that's bedtime, that's fine. Breakfast is coming soon. And I always tell my kids, if they say they're hungry at bedtime, I'll be like, oh, that's wonderful. Breakfast will taste so good. Okay. Esther, oh, you have dramatic children. What happens if they say, I'm really hungry, I'm dying, please, please, another snack, or give me dinner early? Oh my gracious, though, these dramatic children. Well, first of all, give them a drink. Tell them to have some water. It can help. Here's the thing. If you have a satiating snack, a snack that has fat, protein, and fiber, so think maybe some nuts, not a huge pile of nuts because they'll be too full, but an appropriate pile of nuts, some cheese and crackers perhaps. Again, we're adults. We kind of know how fat, protein, and fiber works. If you give someone a clementine, right, a clementine orange, that is not going to stick to their ribs. So that's like kind of a rough snack. It's fun. It's a yummy snack, but you kind of need something else if you have children who are dying, right, by dinner. I love that. They're dying by dinner. Here's the other thing too, Esther and everyone else. If you set these rules and you can be consistent on them for 1 week, every day you're consistent and you never give in, they will stop dying. I promise they will stop dying. So make sure the snack is satiating enough and then keep those rules really, really, really solid, okay? Meal snack, MS90, one and done. Tattoo it on your forehead. Now, when we have foods at dinner that the kids don't love, this can be a very frustrating situation, right? This can cause a lot of power struggles and parents and kids butting heads. So here are your toolbox phrases when you're serving a food that the kids don't love or something new. If they don't like the food, very frustrating, we tell my kids to say, it's not my favorite. Okay, so not only does this sound very polite, so polite that other adults like whip their heads when they hear that out in public and they're like, wow, your kids are so polite. And I'm like, they're well trained. It feels better to the parent, right? It feels horrible to cook a meal and have your kids say, ew, gross, I don't like this, I hate it, oh, it's so yucky. They say it before they even taste it, don't they? Isn't that crazy, those silly kids? We teach them the only thing they're allowed to say if they don't like a food is, it's not my favorite. So number one, you'll feel better about this. They'll feel calmer because they have some standards, and also they're more polite. in public. So that's always a good thing. Now, here's the thing. They can't say it's not my favorite if the food has not touched their tongue yet. Okay, oh my gosh, I gotta tell you, we have a mac and cheese video on Facebook right now. It's my 5-year-old making homemade mac and cheese, and this one adult commented, "Ew, that looks gross." I was like, oh, really? So I politely commented back that we teach our children to say it's not my favorite because it's more polite, and also to be adventurous and that they need to taste things before they judge. I'm just like, I could have deleted her. I thought about it. But I took the higher ground and just explained that she is more rude than my children. We call this no thank you bites. People call this all those sort of things, a first taste bite, a one taste bite. You can call it whatever you want. But basically, you need to set the standard for your kids that they need to take a taste, right? They need to take a taste before they can judge that it's not their favorite. And you try to keep it positive. You know, you don't need to be like, you have to eat this, because then you have your power struggles. You just say, oh, you know, you can say it's not my favorite, and that's okay, but let's make sure that you take at least one bite and see what you think. This really does make a difference. This is a great story emailed to me from Erin, who says this phrase, "it's not my favorite," made so much of a difference. And honestly, her 2-year-old, which again, remember, 2-year-olds testing boundaries, figuring out where they have control. The 2-year-old says, "It's not my favorite," about something almost every night, and then ends up eating it anyway. I'm sure this is because Erin is not engaging in a power struggle and not arguing with him about it being not his favorite. She's letting him have a choice. She's letting him have, you know, agency and opinions, and then voila, the food goes in. It's pretty magic. It really is pretty magic. Not completely. There's no guarantee, but if you keep consistent on these things, it makes a huge difference. Now, I know some of you are saying, and actually I even see in the chat right now, how do we get them to taste? What about those truly stubborn kids? I know some of you have them who are just like lips sealed, arms crossed. Not going to take one bite, Mom. Oh no, now we've got a power struggle, and that stinks. We cannot lose power struggles. So we either have to figure out how to not enter into them or how to set them up so that we always win. Parents cannot lose a power struggle, because then you lose, you know, you're not being the parent anymore. You're letting the child take over. Here's my solution for those truly picky kids who say, no thank you bite for me. I am not doing it. You give your kids 3 offers. So again, you are structuring what has started to become a power struggle. You're toning that down. You're diffusing it and saying, here's what I'm willing to allow you to do. Smell it, lick it, or taste it. Okay. And again, some of these do not even enter the mouth. So a lot of kids have like kind of sensory issues about their mouths, and it's much less intrusive if you can give them a choice of smell it, lick it, or taste it. Okay. And to help you remember that, we call it a little salt. A little salt makes everything better. SLT. I know it's bad spelling, but that's okay. You'll still remember it. A little salt makes everything better. Smell it, lick it, or taste it. And this is really good, again, for those super picky, super stubborn kids. I kind of developed this when a visitor was at my house and his parents short-order to cook for him. So they gave me a frozen pizza, and they're like, he's not going to eat your food. Here's the frozen pizza. Well, it wasn't ready yet. So I said, you're going to have one bite of everything we're eating on your plate, and I can give you your pizza when it's ready. But I do need you to at least do something for me here. Like, here's a baby carrot. Smell it, lick it, or taste it. Well, he chose to smell the baby carrot, but he's still engaged with food, and we still got out of that power struggle without the child winning. Super, super, super important. Now, some kids do have what's called sensory processing disorder, or some sort of sensory processing kind of imbalance, and that can be a big problem with food. I would highly recommend, if you're thinking, man, I don't know, even smell it, lick it, taste it might not work for me, I would highly recommend you to read kitchenstewardship.com/SPD. SPD is for sensory processing disorder, because there are still ways that's an inspiring story of my friend Mary, who had multiple kids with processing disorders and food allergies and all sorts of hurdles, but she got them to eat. She got them to eat healthy food because she only offered healthy food, but she did it within the restrictions of what their body was telling them, right? If they didn't like spicy things, she didn't serve spicy things, but she still served vegetables, if that makes sense. So again, if you think like, whoa, my kid's way beyond these, these tips, it's still surmountable within the realm of real food. Okay. And there are a lot of really good therapists. I have an interview coming up that we'll post in a few months, who work with kids with processing disorders. And it's still possible. It's still super possible. We always want to seek success, okay? This is the success I want for you. And this is another email I got. Mom tried smell it, lick it, or taste it with salmon. One licked it, one smelled it, and another licked it and decided he wanted to eat it and ask for more. And you will find that sometimes the magic happens that way. Okay, so we're starting the dinner with proper snacking. We're inside the dinner. We're having no power struggles. We're teaching the kids to say it's not my favorite. We're doing no thank you bites. We're doing smell it, lick it, taste it for the super pickies, the super stubborns. How do we end the meal, right? Those kids who take one bite of each thing and then say, I'm done, I'm not hungry. Do we let them go? Do we have to make them clean their plate? Number 4 is about how we end the meal. And your toolbox terms, we got a couple of them here. In our family, we always say you have to finish your first before having seconds. And let me explain this and you'll see the magic behind it. You know those kids who will have like maybe a bowl of soup and some raw veggies and dip and a biscuit, right? That's kind of a decently common plate at our house. My kids eat the biscuit. They say, Mom, that was awesome. May I have more biscuits? And I say, oh, like they love the food I'm making. Of course, here, have another biscuit. Well, what are they going to do? They're going to eat the other biscuit and be full enough and leave the table. So especially for those kids who love their breads or they love their mashed potatoes, they love a certain food that you're going to serve, maybe you might even serve a smaller portion of that so that they cannot possibly get full on the food that they love to push their bellies into eating something else. We go get around this by we say it all the time. The kids still ask, you have to finish your first before having seconds. Now, let me say, my 13-year-old, my 9-year-old, and even my 6-year-old is finally getting there. They don't ask anymore. They learned it. The 3-year-old always asks for what he wants when he wants it. And we say, oh, is your plate empty? No, you have to finish your first before having seconds. So that can really help alleviate the problem of kids tanking up on only the foods they like and leaving all the vegetables on their plate. When they say, I'm full, can I get down? And I look over and they've got 3/4 of their meal left. I get a little anxiety inside, okay, because I'm normal too. I'm a mom. I want my kids to be healthy. But I always say, okay, yes, you may be excused. It's good to know when you're full. I really want to teach my kids that because I don't want my kids to turn off their normal cues of hunger, right? We are born with normal cues that say you're hungry, you should eat, you're full, you should stop. In our society, we tend to kill those cues. We tend to eat when we're bored. We tend to eat a ton until we're way past full because doggone it, we're at a party and the food is so good or just whatever. We tend to overfill our bodies. And we eat when we're not hungry. So we totally unhook and unwire and short circuit these natural, normal tendencies that our body tells us when we're hungry and when we're full. So I really, really am trying to keep those connected for my kids, right? Like if they say I'm hungry and I know they're not, I say, oh, you're just bored and remind them. If they say I'm full, I say, okay, like you got to listen to your body. But this is, of course, a question of when they say I'm full, can I have ice cream? Now we have an issue as a parent, right? So my answer to that is, oh, full means full. Like, honey, you just told me with your words that you were full. You just cleared your plate. You just threw away some food. Oh, goodness, if you put that dessert in your belly, you're going to have such a tummy ache. You're going to be over full because you told me that you were full, right? Oh, I love sarcasm, you guys. Can you do that? Do you think can you use that like drippy, sarcastic voice? It really makes you feel good. So here's the thing. I might know that they're not full, but if they're going to lie and say they're full, ooh, they're way too full for dessert too, because that would just hurt their poor little belly. Do you get it? You get it? Okay. So this also makes me feel human because I'm smarter than them, right? Sometimes we just have to be like, yes, we are the adults. We are smarter than you. And if you tell me you're full and you're tricking me, oh, bummer, you're full for dessert. The only time, and this is a really personal thing for my family because I like to be a good steward of resources. If you serve it yourself, you do need to finish it. Okay. And again, this is helping my kids learn their hunger cues, their satiation cues, but also, again, good stewardship, right? I hate it at potlucks or parties when you see kids pile their plate so high and then they take 10 bites and they throw it all away. And I'm like, oh, that just hurts my little heart. I don't want that to happen in my house. I don't want my kids to have that habit. So we do teach them to think ahead, if you serve it yourself, you need to finish it. Now, I would never cram a child over full. They can either finish it now or they can put it away for later. But if you serve it yourself, to me, that's when you need to finish it. Again, that's kind of a personal thing. So, okay. I've thrown out a ton of toolbox terms for your parenting toolbox. I love that Beth is assuming her kids are going to say, I'm full of the meal, but not of dessert, because they're sneaky. But, let's just pull semantics on them and say, well, full means full. Your belly doesn't know what you're putting into it. But I would love to hear in the chat, you guys, which from the first 4 strategies are you going to pull out of your toolbox at the very next dinner, right? What is the diffuser that your kids need? And then remember, these are our problem-solving strategies. These are going to prevent us from having bad habits, from letting our kids fill up on the wrong things, from having too many snacks, all these things. Now we're going to really move into some super awesome good habits, starting with what we can do before the meal. I'm going to call this the pre-game pep talk, and you see all these children kind of working with food before the meal. Studies show and experience confirms that when kids are involved with food, okay, they're more likely to try new things. They're more likely to feel positive about the choices they have, and they're more likely to eat healthily as long as you're serving things healthily. I teach a cooking class for kids, so you probably saw this coming, but it really is true. And I did an interview with a psychologist and nutritionist who works with kids with eating disorders like sensory processing disorder. And she said that anytime you're working with food, anytime you're being exposed to food, touching it, smelling it, tasting it too, but even just like tactile with your fingers, you are getting your body used to that food. And it really does, like research and brain science really says that then you are more likely to allow it to pass your lips, even for the super, super stubborn kids. So isn't that awesome? Quickly, I saw a question from Sayward. Do you save unfinished meals for them to eat later? It really depends. If there's a ton, yes, that might be their lunch for the next day. As long as they say, I do like this, I'm full. If they admit, it's really not my favorite, no, I'm not going to force them to eat it the next time. It's not their favorite. I will have them take one bite next time, because again, research shows that you need like at least 10 exposures to food before you can even decide if you like it or not. So you keep offering the one bite, right? So let's say there's a food, let's say it's a broccoli soup. Broccoli soup, kid tries their no thank you bite, says, oh, it's really not my favorite, Mom. Now, I'm a smart mom, so I've only served them a small serving because that's what I do with new foods because I don't like waste. And they say it's really not my favorite. I say, oh, that's okay. You can eat some of the other things on the table in order to, be satiated at this meal. I always serve multiple options to make sure that kids aren't stuck hating the whole meal, right? Because that's not fair. Then the next time we have broccoli soup, I'm still going to cook it again. And I'm going to say, oh, I remember, this was rough for them. And so I serve them an even tinier serving. And I say, just one bite, just try it again. And I tell you, you guys, this really does work. He's now in first grade. He's 6. My little John there, he's pouring the syrup in the picture there. He was totally anti-green things from about ages 3 to 5. No broccoli, no like spinach, no lettuce. Oh my goodness, green beans like crazy. And we went to a friend's garden. He had a green bean off the vine. What do you know? He loves green beans now as long as they're not cooked. So we had to learn that. He was still super anti-broccoli kid. All of a sudden, taking his no thank you bite, making the face and da-da-da. And he goes, oh, this is good. I like broccoli. What? So that was like this year in first grade, we had to be stubborn until he was 6. And now he's like, give me more broccoli. So how awesome is that? It really can work. And here's part of it too, is that we get those kids in the kitchen. Now, as we're trying to get our kids in the kitchen, this can be tricky for moms. Let me see. Did you guys take that poll? Oh yes. A lot of us think they're too messy and too slow are some of the top answers. But I love that 1/3 of you love having your kids in the kitchen. Super, super great. I love seeing that. That's good. But it's not always easy. It's not always natural for us to let our kids into our domain and let them slow us down and make messes. So the biggest mistake many parents make, and it's one I made myself, it's totally mental. Okay. It's in our brains. We misunderstand our child's abilities. With little ones like this in the picture, we're baking with them, and we sometimes get frustrated because we ask them to do something and they don't do it well. You know why? That's because we forget what it's like to be 3 and 4. We forget what it's like to not know anything, right? They have to learn everything either directly from us through their experience or through their experience. That's it. That's all they've got. So sometimes we assume they can do more than they really can do just because we're so far from being 3 years old, right? So then we kind of get frustrated. And this is a good way to get yourself in the brain of your little one. If you've got a child between the ages of 2 and 5, just have them brush your teeth. Not kidding, guys. You will quickly realize how their motor skills are developed and why they probably can't measure a perfectly flat teaspoon, particularly without training, because yeah, kids' motor skills are a little bit painful when you have them brush your teeth. Be careful, but it's really interesting to like put your brain in their body. Luckily, the antidote for this issue is very, very simple. We just have to remind ourselves to slow down and really lower our expectations for these little ones. Remember that we honestly need to teach them everything. They're not born with an innate knowledge of the world. So we've got to let them have experiences and show them step by step. When we're working with these little kids, we really have to think small. And I'll go into that a little deeper when I get to our 3-step teaching process in just a second. It may be revolutionary for those of you with little ones. My 14-year-old still can't. Oh, that's funny, Christy. With bigger kids, and we're talking like elementary, 6, 7, and up, we have the same problem, but in the flip. Okay, with the bigger kids, sometimes, oh wait, no, that's too far. Sorry, that's the answer. The problem, the biggest mistake we make with the bigger kids is that we forget how much they've grown. If you think about, if you've got older kids, think about like a 5-year-old and their handwriting and their ability to read and interact, and then like a 7-year-old in 2nd grade and their ability to write and read and interact. They're worlds apart. Worlds apart. They grow and develop so fast. And we don't anymore. We adults, we don't grow and develop so fast. So I do think we tend to forget that our kids are more capable than we think. Okay, our older kids, we tend to take these 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-olds even and still just kind of bake with them and let them dump and stir. They can do a lot more. And so the solution is to raise those expectations, but always remembering to teach in a kid-friendly manner, okay? So we're going to raise our expectations. We're going to say, you know what, maybe my 7-year-old can get at the stove. That is she was 7 then, that was my 7-year-old at the stove. But we still make it fun, right? We still keep things on like a kid level and make it fun. One of the fun phrases that we use in the Kids Cook Real Food eCourse is no peeking. And so that's this rice teaching lesson, and the kids crack up at that. Another thing that I did to make it fun was about halfway through the intermediate level, which Leah and her friend Lily, they're 7, they did the intermediate level. About halfway through, we challenged them to make a recipe with completely on their own, right? Without the adult touching anything. And I make a big deal of this in person and in the videos that like, no, like I am not going to touch anything. And so 2 years later, this fall, I felt the call to volunteer at high school youth ministry. And my husband was like, honey, you do not have time, right? This was every other week, Sunday at dinner time. He's like, this is not going to work. This is going to stress our family out too much. I don't think you should do it. And I said, well, what if the kids made dinner every other week? And so I asked them if they were willing. So that was kind of cool because like my service became a family serving together kind of. They enabled me to serve the church. And we just decided they would make our homemade pizza recipes, same thing every week, so that there wasn't stress around meal planning and stuff like that. And I taught them this recipe, which is, you know, homemade pizza. It's a little complicated. It's actually a grain-free recipe, so it's a little more complicated. So I showed them the recipe, and they kind of helped. And then I said, okay, now we're going to freeze this batch, and you're going to make it again for tonight, you know. And so you make sure you can do it yourself. So they're cooking, and I'm like, there still, so I'm kibitzing and I'm kind of like reaching in, and Paul and Leah were like, oh no, Mom, we are supposed to be doing this without you touching anything. And they like dissolved into giggles with each other. And I thought, gosh, number one, like just let it sink in the moment that my son and daughter are giggling in the kitchen together. Like, oh, that was beautiful. So snapshot in my brain. But also I thought, goodness, they learned that 2 years ago and they're still thinking about that fun phrase because we teach in the Kids Cook Real Food eCourse in a really kid-friendly manner. Our teaching philosophy in Kids Cook Real Food is based a little bit on the Montessori method, which I love. If you're familiar with Montessori, it's just so good. But we teach every skill with a 3-step process, okay? We demonstrate first, then we guide the kids, and then we coach them to independence. And let's break those down a little bit. This is on your worksheet too. Step 1 is to demonstrate. Very key is don't give the kids tools right away, okay? Any teacher will tell you that if you give the kids things to work with in math, their ears go off and their hands get busy, right? So we're not going to give them knives. We're not going to give them their spoons right away. We're going to make sure they watch with their eyes, listen with their ears, and they don't have the tools to be busy with their hands. Once we demonstrate, we're going to move on to step 2, which is to guide. And this is really like a co-process, okay? I call this in the picture the hand-on-hand technique. So you can see I'm cracking an egg and my daughter's hands are on top of mine. My hand might go on hers might go on mine, depending on how much she's learned. This is really key because it helps them understand how much pressure to use, okay? You can watch someone crack an egg all day, and then you grab it and smash it on the counter because you didn't quite understand how hard to hit it. But you can feel how hard to hit it if your hand is on top of theirs. Similarly with a knife, sometimes it's hard to see with your eyes when someone's demonstrating how hard you actually push a knife, right? Or how you hold something or how you stir something or whatever. So with knives, with stirring, with eggs, I get their hand as early as age 2 and 3 right on mine all the time. They feel like they're helping, which is beautiful, but they're really learning. So by the time they're maybe 5 or 6 and I'm thinking I can totally give them an egg all to themselves, they're like amazing at it. My daughter at age 5 could crack a dozen eggs perfectly with hardly any mess and no shells. It was awesome because of the hand-on-hand method. So then once they've been guided, step 3 is to coach to independence, okay? Just like a coach of a sports team, you've got to give them practice time and you got to stay close. Don't just walk away and give them, with these real knives. Once you've taught them a skill, you need to stay close. And now you're not going to be touching, but you're going to be using your words to redirect. The reason you've got to stay close is so that kids don't get bad habits right away and remain safe. Okay, we know that if you have, it's harder to break a bad habit than it is to start something new, right? Once the bad habit is in your muscle memory. So it's really, really important to teach the kids a skill, right? Demonstrate and then guide, and then give them lots of practice time and stay close like a good coach. Now, I would love you to think of one of your kids or a couple of your kids. What do they know in the kitchen? And what's like the next thing that you think you could demonstrate, guide, and coach to independence with them? I would love to see those in the chat. It's really inspiring to hear what skills other parents might want to work on. Include the age of your kids if you can. And then definitely, my hint for you is just do it. Just do it this week as soon as you can while it's on your mind. Hopefully this week you will have time to do this sample class. Let me find where it is. There we go. I just want to show you a little 1-minute snippet of our knife skills in safety class. All of our classes have kids in it, so this is kind of funny because it's only my hand, but it's like the review at the end. It's pretty much the only minute in the whole series of classes where the kids aren't in it. But I just want to show you like our fun phrases and how we teach safe knife skills. So you'll just hear my voice. We call this one, hey, hey, out of the way. And that's how you hold the food. The hand with the ring on it is far out of the way. We also teach them to hold the food like this with an up and over soldier where their fingers are standing straight up like a soldier. And of course, well out of the way is top chop for chopping. And that's with bigger knives. Then we got to teach the kids how to move the knife, right? So this is what your other hand is doing. You might do rockabye knife, just rocking it up and down. And we sing Rockabye Baby and have a lot of fun with it. You might do the classic chef's knife move, which is drive it like a vacuum, back and forth, the knife tip always touching the cutting board. This one's called saw blade, super helpful to just call across the room, oh, honey, you need to saw blade that on something soft like a tomato or large like a cantaloupe. And then tug a war pull using that up and over soldier knife or hand hold, and the knife pulls through to make carrot sticks, celery sticks, cucumber sticks, all that stuff. So that is a little sneak peek of our class, and I'm super thrilled to offer the entire class to you, okay? I'm going to send you an email right after this presentation. The fact that you attended means you get this special gift. You get the 10-minute knife skills and safety class. You can totally use it with your kids. You can just check it out yourself to see the caliber and quality of our classes at Kids Cook with Food. But I'm really excited. I want you to do it this weekend if you can. And I want to hear how it goes for you guys. So definitely, try that out at home. You will get that in email. And if you don't have it by the time you're off this call, you can email customer service too. Now, I want to know when you're if you're thinking about like, oh, am I going to give my kids knives? Which, oh, by the way, little kids too. We teach the same skills with butter knives as we do with sharp knives. So that class applies to everybody ages 2 through teen. If you have ever experienced this, type me in the chat. Do you ever have trouble working with your kids in the kitchen because you don't like how it turns out and you don't like how they feel at the end? Or do you know that feeling where you're just not sure how to start? You're just not sure how to explain the skills to the kids? Just type me in the chat if that's you. And if you're thinking, yeah, that kind of has happened, here's how this knife skills class can totally help you. Just about this free class that I'm offering you, other parents have said it's the best experience they've ever had in the kitchen. Dad came home and said, whoa, their knife skills are improved, right? After just this 10 minutes. And then this is awesome. This little 5-year-old watched the class, and because mom didn't know where to start, but all of a sudden he cut up avocados and lettuce and made a fruit salad with just this 10-minute class. So that's totally what I want for you guys. Okay. All you who are saying me, this is your future. Do that class. Now we've got a little bit more to come. We got our last 2 strategies, and I'm going to talk about a very vital skill about what to cut at each age. So don't do the videos without the very end of the presentation. But I have to address a question that a lot of parents ask me, like, why should we bother? Why should we bother like teaching our kids to cook? There's so much to do, right? They're messy, they're slow, they're dragging me down. Like, I can just cook a meal, and as long as they're eating healthy food, why should we bother? Well, I gotta tell you a little story that made me think of you guys. And this is my son. This is Gabe. He's 3. Gosh, he's cute. And last fall, just kind of as the seasons were changing, we were rushing off to Bible study, which I'm supposed to lead. It's a 7-minute drive. It was like 3 minutes before it was supposed to start. So I got my Bible study bag. I got my diaper bag. I got my tea in my mug. And I had my hands were super full. You know, moms, this is how we roll, right? And my little guy, we got his winter coat on. And we were going out into the garage. We have like 2 steps down to the cement of our garage. And I kind of had a finger. So I kind of reached down like I was maybe going to touch him with the finger. I don't know what he was thinking, but all of a sudden he jumped. He just jumped. And I thought, oh no. It was like, I think he thought I was holding his fingers, like I was going to swing him out. And he did not have the skills at that age to jump over a step onto the cement. I thought, oh my gosh, he's going down. I've got all this stuff in my hands, and there was no way I could catch him. So he touched that one hand that I had out, flipped over and landed on his back on the cement. And, you know, it knocked the wind out of him, and I'm trying to set all my stuff down. I'm getting down there, and I'm just like, you know, I'm checking his head, and he's screaming bloody murder. And I had just been reading a parenting book that week that said, like, when a child is hurt or when they're throwing a temper tantrum, the worst thing you can do is be like, why did you do that? Because they don't know. Like, they're not in their logical brain at that point. You just have to, like, connect with them and tell them you know that they're hurt. And I'm like trying to be a good mom. And I'm just like, oh, honey, like, I know you're hurt. I know I hurt. Where does it hurt? And he's all like, my knee and my elbow. And I'm thinking, okay, like, he didn't actually land on those, so praise be to God, he must be okay. Like, I think his head's okay. He's screaming. But like every cell of my being wanted to be like, why did you jump? And I'm trying to be a good mom, and I'm just like, it's okay. I know you're hurt. I know that was really scary. And then I couldn't help it. And I just said, but why did you jump? I couldn't hold it in. And he's blubbering, and he says, I didn't want my feet to be cold. And I'm like, didn't want your feet to be cold? What do you mean you have your... And there I looked down and saw his cute little C-3PO socks and no shoes and no boots. So yeah, mom fail. I was about to take him to Bible study with no shoes on, and he didn't want to touch the cold cement. So he tried to jump over it. Oh my goodness. And that story makes me think of all of us, though. Like, at some point, we're going to send our children out into the world at 18 or whenever. Someday they're leaving home. And I hate to think that any of us would send them out unable to feed themselves, because they might just try to jump. If they're unprepared, they might just try to jump. And they might land in the frozen pizza aisle or in ramen noodles or in wasting all their money on fast food or eating out because they don't know how to feed themselves. So I really want I really want everybody in America to know how to cook, and it's got to start with our kids. So even if you're an adult who doesn't really know how to cook, it's okay. Like, you can totally still teach your kids to cook. And I just want to ask, can I have some permission to share this? That I'm super excited about kids and cooking. And so I hope you'll bear with me for a couple minutes while I talk a little bit about what's really exciting to me. And, we're not in this parenting gig for the gratitude, right? But sometimes the kids thank you. And this story from Anne just melted my heart. She did the class with her 5 kids. Look at that picture. Dad's in the apron. Everybody's at the table. I love it. And afterward, her 12-year-old boy gave her a hug, thanked her, and said it was super fun to learn to cook. Okay. Her 9-year-old said at bedtime, I wish we could do cooking class every day. Oh, yay. Don't you want that? I want that for you. And I would warmly invite you to join us in the Kids Cook Real Food eCourse. You guys, summer is the perfect time for this. You got a little bit of extra time, maybe you can do some lessons. In the eCourse, we teach for real kids to cook. First and foremost, we give kids the basic skills they need to be helpful in the kitchen, right? They will take time off your plate to make almost any recipe they find and to love eating healthy foods, which is why you're all here, okay? We can do this, moms and dads. We can totally get them in the kitchen. With the Kids Cook Real Food eCourse, you get 32 video lessons for the kids, plus some extras for the adults. The age level is all the way from 2 to teen. We break it down into beginner for 2 to 5, intermediate is 6 and up, and advanced is 8 and up. The skills fit what they can do. There's lesson plans to tell you everything you need. Like I said, you do not need to know how to cook to do this. The lesson plans are very extensive for those of you who like to know all the details. They all have a 1-page quick start for those of you who need to just jump right in. We give you the recipe ebooks. We give you checklists and shopping lists. So it's all very simple. And again, simple food, simple tools. What's most important is those 30 basic skills that we teach. By the time kids graduate from the eCourse, they know how to do 30 different things in the kitchen. Totally, totally priceless. Now, if we were to add up all of this, it would equal $195, which is a little much for families. So don't worry, it's not actually that much. Oh, it's 2 o'clock. No, I wanted to show you. I wanted to show you a little bit in the eCourse, but I don't know if I have time. Maybe in the FAQs. Maybe in the FAQs, I should. I can show you into the class a little bit. But it's split up into 8 weeks and the 3 levels, and then the 3 levels all work together. So if you have like little kids, middle-sized kids, and big kids, they learn their separate skills, but it kind of comes together in a meal or a snack. Christy just asked what kind of skills. This is really good. Man, maybe I should go to the curriculum map. Hang on. Because I thought I don't think I have the curriculum map up. So Foundations 101 is one example. We do measuring for young children. We do measuring for older kids. We teach them how to stir. We teach them how to measure into their hands. We call it season like a TV chef, which is pretty fun. The course is really easy to navigate, which I love. So here are some of the skills right here. You can see in class 1, we teach peeling and spreading to our beginners, how to follow a recipe well for intermediates, and knife skills level 1 for the big kids. Basically, our beginner kids do a lot of small motor type stuff. They do pouring, they do measuring, cutting with a butter knife, and stirring. Then our intermediate kids who can read learn the fine art of following a recipe. We get sharp knives in their hands and we get them to the stove. And then our big advanced kids, half of their classes are actually chef's knife skills, because that's so important, you guys. You know, if you're cooking healthy food, you're spending a lot of time at the cutting board. And this is all completely at your own pace. I see Amy has a great question. Can they be done like not once a week, maybe once or twice a week, or absolutely. We've had people cram them all into spring break. We've had people do them once a month. We've had people do them on whatever Saturday they're not having a soccer game. You know what I mean? So it's totally at your own pace. You have access to all of it. And some people will say, well, my kid knows this skill, so we'll skip this class. Like super, super flexible, you guys. I'm a mom of 4 kids, right? So I know how that rolls. Beginners are ages 2 to 5, JJ. And yes, Christy, if you have different ages, it's all included. They can kind of start wherever their skills allow them to jump in. And then again, what's really cool is that I have lots of kids. So I wanted something I could do with all my kids at once. And I wanted to give you guys something you could do with all your kids. So like, in class 1, the beginners are peeling what the advanced kids cut, and the middle-sized kids are making a dip for all of it. So it's pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet how it all comes together. And it ended up working for special needs kids too, you guys. Oh, I love this story. This is Aidan, and he's 11. He's got Down syndrome, but he really loved cooking, and his mom had no idea where to start. So she got the Kids Cook Real Food eCourse, and it turned out that the lessons are just perfect. She said it moved him forward faster than she ever could. And now he not only has confidence that he can do it himself or with minimal help, but he's starting to plan menus for his daily meals. Oh my gosh. It's such great inspiration for all of us, really, to hear these stories. And then for like the cynical kids, for the preteens, Amy in California, her daughter was mad because she wouldn't buy rice-a-roni. And we teach them how to make homemade rice-a-roni in the course. And she said, Mom, it tastes just like the box. So Amy was like, score, and also admits that she learned a thing or two herself. Like I said, you do not have to know how to cook. I do all the heavy lifting for you and all the thinking. Right now, you guys, because you're on this presentation and because we're in a special bonus period from now until next Wednesday, we've got a set of premium classes. So this is extra classes beyond the 30 skills. That's a $20 value that we're offering for free. And what are we offering right now? Snacks. We're offering our healthy snacks classes. So let me just, I went too far again. Let me show you really, really quickly. When you go to the bonus page, you'll see these healthy snack options. I think I can I turn that on in the chat? I think I can. Okay, cool. You'll see a link to go right here to this page in the chat. And basically, let me show you. So this is for healthy snack videos, how to choose healthy snacks for kids, right? Those of you who are asking, like, what's a good healthy snack? That's totally in our All Kid video for kids of all ages, so that to help them make healthy snack choices. And then here's what we make. Our beginners make granola, and there's a grain-free option for that. Intermediates make these energy bites. They're like homemade Larabars. Oh my gosh, guys, you want to talk about saving money? Don't buy the Larabar, make it at home. And then the advanced kids make pumpkin pie bars, which are great for fall, but they're really good for any time of year. They're grain-free and, of course, packed with vegetables because they're pumpkin pie bars. So, and again, these are completely free for all new members from now until next Wednesday. What we've found is that our most popular level is what I call the VIP level. And let me tell you why I think that is. There's a lot in VIP. First of all, VIP gives you lifetime access. Our regular levels are just 12 months of access, but VIP lets you use this for all your kids, and they can grow into it through all their ages. So lifetime access is really key. There's a private Facebook group where, moms share their pictures. There's bragging rights, lots of extra tips and questions that can come right to me. My favorite class is our hospitality class, and that's actually only for our VIP members. We teach our little ones to carry plates and our big ones to set and wash the table. Oh, that's funny. That's out of order. We also have a course for parents. Super Healthy Kids allowed us to provide our VIP members with their Fast and Fresh Kitchen Success course. Time, outside of teaching your kids to cook. And then we've got a few extra little videos, some Instant Pot basic skills, and a bloom tutorial from my friend Courtney at the Flavor Crash Course. But there's also all of these full-length ebooks and downloads valued about $100 in the VIP group. So, I mean, there are some really good reasons why VIP tends to be the most popular. So then just to recap really quickly, we would love for you to become a member. You'll get that knife skills class no matter what, you guys. Get those kids in the kitchen, whether you let me help or not. But I'd love to help. I'd love for you to be a member and get these 32 video lessons, to get all those PDFs. The 30 basic skills are truly priceless to know. We make sure you have everything you need, from recipe ebooks to checklists. In the VIP, of course, there's lifetime access, the private Facebook group, and the hospitality class. All those extra videos and extra downloads. Most importantly, your kids cooking real meals and eating healthy food. And then now through Wednesday, the bonus videos that are a $20 value, that's our snacks videos. So if you added it all up, it'd be over $500, or priceless if you really want your kids to eat well, because to eat well, you got to know how to cook. But the VIP actual price is $119.95. And again, that's lifetime access to all 3 levels. We'll make sure that you get all this information in email as well. When you go to our page, you'll see these levels here. So the single level is like if you just have one child, maybe a small child who only needs the beginner level. All level means you get all 3 levels, 3 for the price of 2. And then at VIP, of course, you get all the levels plus all the bonuses for just $40 more. So VIP is definitely the best deal for you. Moms have discovered, like it's a big leap, right? $120 is still a lot to spend. I get that. But these moms took the jump, and here is what they found. They found that their kids help. In fact, this 10-year-old left his play date to peel and cut a cucumber for Jenny Craft salad voluntarily. He was happy to do it. Moms discover that there actually is time. Allie from Minnesota said she didn't think she had time to teach them, and now she's getting lots of help with meals. She's getting time back. The investment is paying off. They are very capable. We time and time again, and I'm surprised often by my kids and how capable they are. Rachel found that the kids were more capable than she was giving them credit for, and now again, they're giving her help back. They all find that it was worth it. This mom is a teacher and said it was worth every penny, all the little details that I put into the class. And that, again, that is definitely my hope for you. I know it can be a little scary to jump into a class that's this expensive, that's $120, but there is a happiness guarantee. So I know you'll love it. Our refund rate is incredibly low, but we're very, we want you to be able to take this for a spin, try it. And if it doesn't work for you, you can totally get the money back. And remember that we do have levels too at $79.95 and $39.95. So there's lots of ways to teach your kids to cook. Everybody gets the knife skills class for free. So no worries on that. Here's a little peek at some of the food we make. And if you're thinking, I don't know if my kid would eat that, I still need those other 2 tips. So let's jump into those last 2 tips. Thank you for letting me talk about our class that I'm so passionate about. Tip number 6, you guys, is to do something crazy. And this is all about jolting your kids out of their habits and surprising them enough that something healthy passes their lips. Okay? So I got to go on the news, and the anchor there is going, "What are you doing?" Because I'm getting out a straw to suck up blended soup. And it's just, when we give the kids straws, they eat all their soup. When we don't give them straws, they eat 2 bites of their soup. So we get a lot of veggies in with those straws. And again, as I see a couple of really good questions coming in, but I'll tackle those in about 5 minutes in the Q&A. So here are 6 crazy ideas that can jolt the kids into maybe eating something new. Have a meal where you eat with toothpicks or skewers or using straws. You can't drink everything in a straw, but blended soup works great. You can eat dinner under the table one night. This is a good one for those of you whose kids are always running around. Say, hey guys, if you can keep your bottoms in the chairs for 1 night or for 3 nights, the next night we're going to have a picnic under the table or a picnic in the living room, right? Give them a little incentive. Sometimes eating by candlelight, you guys, like that toning down of the lights, tones down the voices, and maybe you have conversation, and as people are conversing, they're eating their vegetables. It works like magic sometimes. Do something kind of silly, like a one-color food meal where everything's red or everything's white, or a silly meal. We did an all-pancake meal once. We had all our food groups, but they were all in the form of pancakes. And this picture is all muffins. So there's like rice muffins, meat muffins, grain muffins, and potato muffins. Just silly, just stuff to get the kids, again, surprised enough to eat. I learn a lot from my readers, and I would love to hear something you've done out of the ordinary that made a positive impact with food. If you have any ideas, share them in the chat. We can learn from each other. Now, tip number 7 is bridging the gap, okay? For those of you who have kids with very narrow palates, maybe they really just love their favorite foods, right? They might love their pizza. They might love their chicken nuggets. They might love their pasta or their pancakes. What we can do is form a bridge from what they love to what you want them to love, okay? So you see that line from the pizza to what do we want them to eat, okay? So for example, we're going to build that brick path. Your job is to bridge from what they already eat to what you want them to eat. I kind of already said that, didn't I? So here are just some examples for pizza. For pizza, you might start by just adding one extra topping. Okay, and they just have to try it. They don't have to leave it on there. They don't have to eat the whole thing. They just have to try it, right? 1 extra topping. You might start by making a homemade crust. White flour, whatever. Make it taste like theirs, but it's homemade. And then once they like the homemade, you can say, oh, let's add a little whole wheat flour in here, right? And just 1 step at a time now, then you can get to whole wheat crust. Then you say, you like this pizza dough on the crust. Let's make this dough into rolls, right? Then maybe you have whole wheat rolls. Obviously getting the kids involved is huge. That's my daughter teaches my little 3-year-old all the time. And I don't have a picture of this Oh no, here's some more. So then you move on to more pizza ideas, right? Now I've got up there's a pizza pasta salad. There's a pizza quiche. There's pizza meat muffins. We had a pizza skillet dish for breakfast. I make pizza veggies. You guys, this is just throwing frozen veggies into a steamer, steam your veggies, dump a jar of spaghetti sauce on them, and some mozzarella cheese. Super easy. Call them pizza veggies. They go down way faster than normal steamed broccoli. And so again, you can see how you can do like one step at a time, just what the kids can handle, and bridge that gap between what they like and what you want them to eat. That's what I got for you today. I hope your parenting toolbox feels very full. Here are the 7 strategies, because recall does help memory. First, we've got that MS-90 one and done snack time rule. We're going to keep that big buffer between meals and snacks on either side and say 1 snack between meals, 1 serving of snack. The new food magic phrases are the things like, it's not my favorite, you need a no thank you bite, full means full, and finish your first before having seconds. Those very, very stubborn ones sometimes need a little salt. Smell it, lick it, or taste it. And then we're not going to force kids to clean their plates. We're going to allow them to leave. Oh, but that's where full means full is. And we're just going to encourage them always to have some tastes, right? We've got to get those kids in the kitchen. The more kids are involved with food, the more likely they are to not only taste and eat healthy food now, but studies are showing now that the more likely they are to cook healthy food in their 30s. So what you do with your kids now is impacting your grandkids, you guys. That is crazy. Number 6 is do something crazy. Jolt them, out of their habits. Surprise them, and then bridge the gap. Form 1 step at a time from what you want, from what they eat to what you want them to eat. I'd love to hear what your favorite is, and we're getting close to. You guys have so many good questions. I see them coming in. We're getting close to Q&A, and I don't want you to be scared. Some of us are like this gal Kate, who was terrified to let them into the kitchen. She didn't want to do it, but using our Kids Cook Real Food eCourse, she found that after just 2 lessons, her kids were more confident in the kitchen, and she felt more confident. And I'm so pleased that I'm able to do that for Kate. I want to be able to do that for you as well. Now, when you use that knife skills video that you have access to, I hope you can do it this weekend, because that would be good. It's on your mind. Make sure you're giving your kids the appropriate foods to cut, okay? Picking the right foods when you're teaching knife skills is just as important for success as the right size of knife and the right safety and techniques. So for little ones, only soft things. They're going to use a butter knife, and you're going to give them soft things like a banana, like a melon with the rind cut off, like that picture, pears or kiwis with the core taken out already, and like cooked vegetables. Like you could roast carrots or bake potatoes or boil potatoes and then give the child the already cooked vegetable to cut up into dices. With your middle-sized kids, we can introduce a sharp paring knife at this point, but with a paring knife, you don't want to give them something that is difficult. We can't give them things that are too big or too awkward. So we're going to give them small things like strawberries and mushrooms, as well as soft and kind of manageable things like pineapples. Cucumbers and zucchini are awesome for a paring knife because they're nice and long and skinny. Your hand's far away from the knife, but they're still totally doable with a paring. Important order. I want you to start with something long and skinny that's easy to hold on to and that won't roll away, like carrots or celery, okay? Then once they feel comfortable with the chef's knife, once their motions are good and their hand holds are good, like we show in that video, then you can move on to big stuff like melons and onions and peppers, and again, just about anything. I do have another video to share with you from the course, and it's my parent tips for success. This will be in your emails, don't worry, but you can also find it at kidscookrealfood.com/knife tips. So again, thank you. You guys, thank you so much for being here. It warms my heart that you're all here for the betterment of your family, for the health of your kids. You're doing the right thing. Bravo to you parents and grandparents and daycare workers and everything. So excited to hear how you like the free knife skills class. You got to do that. Watch your email for that. For anyone who becomes a member, again, the free snack set is a $20 value. Just a reminder that all members get to work at their own pace, so you can buy it now, use it in the summer, or use it whenever you get a chance for homeschool curriculum in the fall or whatever. We do make it real easy to pay. You can choose PayPal or credit card. And if $119.95 is still a little much for the family, remember that Bill Me Later through PayPal gives you no payments for 6 months, and that's easy to use. here is my vision for you, right? Being able to do your Bible study while your kids make dinner. These kids are so proud of what they made. I just love these pictures that the members shared. I really want to see this in every home in America, right? I want to see these kids proud of what they're making, working with food, eating healthy food. It's a beautiful thing. And again, just a quick reminder of our happiness guarantee. You've got 30 days to take the class for a spin once you become a member. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I gotta stop my screen share here. Okay, so Sonia has been collecting your questions. They were going crazy there right at the end, so I hope she got them all. And I'll start with the questions that you asked during the event here, and then I do also have your questions from email. So if you asked a question in email, I will answer it now. And my team is gonna make sure that we respond to your emails too, so you know how to find the answer. Let's see. Paige wants to know, oh, are we registered with charter schools? Yes, actually, we are registered with a bunch of charter schools in California and a couple other states. That's so cool that there are schools who will pay for the class for you. So absolutely, if we're not registered with yours, Paige, let me know, because my team totally knows how to do that. And then, oh, this is a good one. Teresa wants to know some suggestions for going from canned asparagus to fresh. So again, this is tip number 7, bridging the gap. From canned asparagus to fresh. Canned fruit is just so gross to me. I find that most kids actually tend to like raw vegetables better than cooked. Now, raw asparagus, I don't know, but I would love to see. I'd love to see parents serve a lot of raw vegetables to their kids, and then they'll be able to understand that all vegetables aren't like totally mushy. Right? Let's see. Okay, I've got those. And then Lisa says, what can you bridge to from bread? So no problem. Like with bread, you can bridge to a homemade bread. You can bridge to a more whole grain bread if you don't want to make homemade. You can start putting different things on the bread, right? Like butter is good for you, I think. So put, just different like toppings on the bread. Maybe you grill the bread. Maybe you do a grilled cheese, right? Kids like grilled cheese. And then you start to put different cheeses for a different flavor profile, and you start to put vegetables inside the grilled cheese. And again, you can get the kids. It's not like hiding. We're not hiding things. We're getting the kids involved so that they know what's in there. They don't have to be scared of it. But it's all about look at this grilled cheese. Like you love all of this. What if maybe that one little 10% slice of tomato that I just put in there, I wonder if you'll really even taste it. Let's try a bite. Just keeping it chill and just kind of bridging and stuff. Cheryl just asked what you can bridge from chicken nuggets, and you'll be getting an email. I've got other tips for you, but I always run out of time. So in the next day or so, I'm pretty sure that chicken nuggets are one of the ones that I love to share in my follow-up email. So that canned asparagus to fresh, it's just all about just trying it, right? Do fresh asparagus in bacon grease. That will get your kids to eat it. Save your bacon grease and cook your asparagus in it to just crisp tender. So good. 6-year-old loves to cook. We cook often, but he still won't try things or eat anything green. So Nanette, you're just barely in that space, right? You're just barely out of the age 2 to 5, which is almost always picky. So honestly, with a 6-year-old, I would say just keep on keeping on. Keep on keeping on. Try those no thank you bites. Okay. Talk about food. Talk about how it makes you healthy and makes you feel. I love to go science geek on kids. And just keep waiting, right? Likely it will happen. Now, if he really does potentially have a processing disorder, that's something that you're going to want to maybe look into and talk to a professional about. But it's always possible. As long as everything you serve is healthy, it's okay. Maybe if they only eat 5 things, at least if they're all healthy, you can still do that with him. So I hope that was helpful, Nanette. Let's see. You said, I said I made a grain-free pizza crust, and Pam's family is gluten-free. So pizza crusts don't wrap into rolls. Yeah. No, they don't. No, that's true. But you can always, so a gluten-free, I just posted a really good gluten-free pizza crust last week, actually, Pam, if you need a new recipe. Gluten-free pizza dough tends to be almost like battery, you spread it on. So yeah, you can't roll it into a roll or wrap it up. But there's always ways to bridge. You might skip the roll part, or you might make another gluten-free homemade bread. We've got a really good gluten-free flatbread on kitchenstewardship.com, Pam, that you might want to look up. But then it's all about just topping, and then just choose something else that's pizza flavored, right? So we did pizza flavored vegetables and pizza flavored pasta. And so the bridging isn't always necessarily like using what's in the pizza, but it might be just using the flavor of oregano can really trick kids, and tomato sauce can really make it feel like you're eating pizza type stuff. Let's see. This question is, how long does it take to teach a lesson? That's a really good question. We are busy people, right? So we got to know how long it's going to take. The beginner, the little kids, usually about a half an hour to 45 minutes. Sometimes the older kids might take up to an hour or two. But again, if you're making an entire meal, you might be taking an hour, hour and a half to make that yourself. So it just extends it a little longer because you are working with kids and teaching new skills. So all the lessons, the videos are between 3 minutes and 20 minutes, depending on the skill. And then to actually watch the video, do a lesson, practice the skill, make some food is going to take between 45 minutes to a couple hours. I really recommend parents to do this when there's no time pressure. So if you need to have dinner at 6 because you've got something somewhere to go at 7, like that's not a good day to do Kids Cook Real Food. Do it on a Saturday before lunch. If you're homeschooling, honestly, I would eat lunch and then go right to cooking classes because they're happy, and just save the food you make for dinner or for snack. So that's a really good tip too, is don't teach kids new skills when they're hungry, because then you get time pressure and you end up getting like negative attitudes sometimes. So that can be tricky. Sounds like there are several of you in the chat, Sonia said, that have special diets. So vegetarian, grain-free, dairy-free, and absolutely. So I want to talk a little bit about just the food in general. This is not an expensive like food class. The food you need is very basic stuff that you can get at any grocery store. The tools you need are like knives, cutting boards, pot, bowl, spoon, like super, super basic stuff that people probably have in their homes already. You don't need to be running out and buying additional supplies. Also, we really focused on the skills. So it was my goal to have a course where the kids learned skills and not recipes. Obviously, we have to make some food. Like, you've got to make food to show the skills, but the focus isn't on the recipe. So if you have a dietary restriction, like dairy-free or grain-free, first of all, a lot of the recipes fit with that. But we also say, like, okay, we're learning rolling things out. We are rolling out homemade whole wheat tortillas. If you are gluten-free, here is a gluten-free cracker recipe that uses the same exact skill of rolling out that you see in the video, right? If you're grain-free, here's a grain-free tortilla recipe. So every lesson plan has a section on alternative diets and ideas for those. Like I said, out of 24, yeah, there's 32 videos and about 24 recipes that we make. Almost all of them are dairy-free. There's just a handful that aren't. Almost all of them are gluten-free and grain-free, and there's only meat in one class. So it really is super dietary friendly for whatever you need. And if you have any real specific dietary restrictions, first of all, grab the course, try it out, look inside, see how it's going. You have 30 days to send it back. Also, my customer service team is really awesome. They're all moms who have gone through the course, and so they know it really well. They can totally answer your questions on dietary restrictions too. And then let's see, a couple people want to know how to figure out like what age to start at what level, and that's a really good question. Maybe Sonia might have the link for the curriculum map to drop in the chat. I have this curriculum map that shows you all the lessons and all the skills that are taught. So what you'd want to do, like if you have an age 2 to 5-year-old, they definitely start at the beginner level. If they're older than that, you'd want to look at the beginner and kind of maybe print it out and check off what skills they already have. And then likely, start them at intermediate. So kids who can read usually could jump in at intermediate. That's things like reading a recipe well, using sharp knives, and getting to the stove. Now, if you're like, I can't give my kid a sharp knife yet, he has no knife skills, you back up to beginner. And you're going to, maybe you do the knife class and the supporting lessons with that. Does that make sense? So you can really use the curriculum map to figure out where to start your kids. Even older kids have actually started at the beginner level. This was one of the biggest surprises when I first launched this, that a lot of parents are taking even their 10 and 12-year-olds and saying, oh, like I don't want them to miss any skills. we're going to kind of buzz through the beginner level, or they're going to help their little brothers and sisters through the beginner level to make sure they know how to peel and how to hold a knife and how to measure well and stuff like that before we give them sharp knives and get them to the stove. So it's super individual. You have access to everything, and figuring out where your child or children should be is as easy as looking at the list of skills on the curriculum map and kind of checking them off and starting them wherever they need to be. Stacy's got maybe some super picky kids. She says, will the super picky kids eventually transition from salt, smell it, lick it, taste it to the no thank you bite rule? Hopefully, yes. That's the idea. Is that that eventually, if anything, like if even a super picky kid, if they've tried something, if they've tasted it before, then maybe the next time at a meal when you serve that item, you put one bite on their plate, just one bite. Because first of all, like, there's a lot of psychology to eating, and when you see a big pile of something on your plate, even though mom and dad say you don't have to finish it, it's like a weight on their shoulders. So you just put that one bite there, so it's super not intimidating, and like, that's their bite. So that would be a good way to bridge from smell it, lick it, taste it to the no thank you bite. Is like you just start putting that one bite on there and continue to encourage, continuing to model like, ooh, I don't know if I'm going to like this, but I guess I'm going to try it. What's the worst that can happen? It's not my favorite. I'll drink some water. You know, like just modeling that too and making it a really positive thing. Stacy says she has one I know would stay at smelling if I let her. And again, it's just kind of building up a tower. So once she's smelled it 10 times, and then you get her in the kitchen working with it and serving it to others and touching it, and all of those things eventually kind of build up so that a bite sneaks in. Maybe you surprise them with something crazy, right? That whole like do something crazy. So the combination of all of these strategies can really help those, especially the super picky ones. Let's see. Carlana says, my underweight 6-year-old doesn't eat well at dinner, so I'm concerned that if I limit snacks, he won't eat enough cumulative calories. Oh, so, okay. If the child's not eating well at dinner, it could be because the snack is too satiating. Does that make sense? So I would advise more than ever to make sure snacks are far apart from dinner and appropriately sized. Satiating, I mean, give that child calories, give him nuts. Him? Yeah, I think him. Give him nuts, give him coconut oil fudge, you know, like you can pack in a lot of calories and still have 90 minutes between your meal and your snack. Now, if he's underweight and under the care of a doctor, I am not a doctor. And so listen to your doctor, but it is good for kids to get hungry. It's good for kids to have a chance to be hungry for dinner. And then you start with the vegetables with a nice hearty dip that's full of fat and calories, right? That would be, I still think that applies no matter the child. How do I manage the kids coming home and being starving, but I still have to make dinner or get it ready even if it's in a slow cooker? My 2-year-old grabs fruit the second she gets in the door. Okay, Sarah, you can do this. All you need to do is prep vegetables the night before or the morning before, whenever you have time. And so you have a big old Ziploc of vegetables, carrots, pea pods, cherry tomatoes, cucumbers, celery, broccoli, whatever works. We don't usually do the last two, but like those first 4, carrots, cucumbers, tomatoes, and pea pods are like staples at our house. We pull out the bag. If they're starving, you can put it on the table, and it's not a snack. Okay, you say this is part of dinner, and it's ready now, and it's available as an appetizer if anyone wants it. Okay, because they can't know. They're not actually having a snack. You didn't break the snack rule. They're starting dinner early. So as long as you have those vegetables ready early, and then we make ranch in the first class of intermediate in Kids Cook Real Food, you have that ranch ready to go. And then they're not eating a snack. They're not eating that extra fruit. Okay. Oh my goodness, you guys have such good questions. Thank you so much. This is so great. Okay, so we've got one from email that says, really problem with a strong gag reflex and a texture thing and stomach problems and stress. Oh my gosh, that's so good. And there's always challenges, but I do think we can stay committed to healthy food. The strategies might change a little in specific situations, but if you can serve healthy food and get the junk food out of your house, if that's what it takes, or at least off the table and not available as a choice, we can keep our kids eating healthy food no matter what the challenge is. And then let's see, this is pretty common. The kids try to just go serve themselves a snack when they don't like dinner. Well, and now this is less an eating thing and more a parenting thing, right? We have got to be the parents, and we have got to set boundaries and say that this snack cupboard is low and it's available to you during snack times, which are this and this during the day. If you cannot follow those rules, I'm very sorry, but the snacks are going to have to go up high. And so, I mean, you have to be the parent, just like you would for bed or homework. If they won't do their homework or they won't go to bed, we can't just throw up our hands and say, oh gosh, my kid won't go to bed. No, he's up till 3 a.m. every day. No, like we set a bedtime and we make them stay using any strategies we can, right? Oh, this is a good one. Best ideas for lunchbox and snack planning. I actually have ebooks on lunch packing and snacks, but a couple good ideas are to plan dinners that are good as cold leftovers. So when we make like grilled chicken or slow cooker, like barbecue chicken that could go like on rice or on a sandwich, or what else do we do? Sometimes certain pasta dishes are still really good as cold, like pasta salad. And so we love to have dinners that can translate right into, we take them right out of the pot at dinner, directly into the lunchbox. Boom, lunch is packed for tomorrow. Love that, packing lunch right out of dinner. And then snack planning, just remember that your kids don't need 50,000 choices. Sometimes I feel bad, like, what's for snack? And I say, well, cheese sticks, trail mix, or an apple. And I feel bad, like that's the same choices they had the day before. You know what? If kids could eat a cookie every day for snack, they would never complain. So I don't think we need to worry too much about having a million choices. Just choose things that are healthy, whole foods, and satiating enough to get them through. If the apple can't get them through till dinner, make it an apple with almond butter or peanut butter or sun butter to get that fat and protein amped up. And then the apple itself has fiber. Fat, protein, fiber. That's your recipe for a satiating snack. These are so good. The mealtime rush. Oh, this might be the same person, getting home at 6 and not being ready. That veggie bag can really, really help you a lot. Let's see. Biggest struggle is that kids never want to eat anything I make. That's such a bummer. I think when kids make food, they really are more likely to eat it. Now, this mom says they won't help me. And that's where I think the Kids Cook Real Food eCourse comes in, because I take a lot of that pressure off you. It's not you saying, oh, mom needs help, like, come on in the kitchen. It's saying, hey, we're going to do this cool thing, like we're going to have some cooking classes and you get to learn to cook. And then, have them cook for others, have them cook when you have friends over, so you can say, guess who made this meal? Oh yeah, my 8-year-old totally made this whole dish. And people are like, oh, and then the 8-year-old gets this huge boost of self-esteem. It's so super cool. So it can, if you're really committed to wanting your kids to eat, pull them into the kitchen. Let me help. I'm here for you. I can be your scapegoat. You can say, oh, Mrs. Kimball says this and this and this. And it really does work. A lot of parents tell me that their kids are eating so much better after the class. And let's see. Oh, I struggle to include the kids because I feel like I don't know what I'm doing in the kitchen. This is so common. You don't have to know what you're doing in the kitchen. Like, I don't even feel like I'm a real adult sometimes. I'm like, didn't I just grow up at your own bedtime? But that doesn't stop you from giving your kids a bedtime. We're not perfect at eating the right foods all the time. I want the chocolate, right? But that doesn't stop me from telling my kids that we really do need to eat healthy and just keep trying, right? We're always going to fall down on our goals. No one is perfect. The best people get back up and try again. And the best parents get back up and try again. And there is a lot of value, you guys, to letting your kids see your weaknesses, to letting your kids see that maybe you don't know what you're doing, but you love them enough and you love yourself enough and value yourself enough to try anyway, to try to eat healthy, right? And again, that's where having some videos can come in handy. So if me and my kids are like showing you all, you get to learn right along with your kids. And a lot of parents do tell me that, like, oh, like, don't tell anyone, but I'm kind of learning right along here. I'm like, that's okay. Like, you're totally normal. I fumbled along and learned to cook over the last 15 years. And yeah, it's not too bad. I think that's all the questions. Let me scroll back up. I think I got them all. I hope I got them all. I think Sonia got them all that. Oh, wait, here's one that I missed. What if a child is very scared of knives? Because, you know, you hear parents say, don't touch the knife. You'll cut your finger off. Oh, no, you know, like maybe we've fallen into that bad habit. Or Esther here says she had her niece, like, is really super scared of knives. So, you start them with a butter knife. And you can show them that the butter knife isn't going to hurt you. And you get them to use the exact same really good knife skills like you have in the free video, the exact same holds on the food and hold on the knife with a butter knife as you do with the big knife. Once the child is super confident with the butter knife, then you can say, you know what? You have the skills to be safe with a sharp knife. That is so great. And you can do the first transition to a sharp knife, do that hand on hand, where so your hand can be on theirs, right? Like the little kid's hand is in here and your hand is here and the knife's out here. So you can say, look, my hand is closer to the knife. If anyone gets hit, it's going to be me, but no one's going to get hit with the knife. It's okay. And then your hand is on top. And there's so many ways to kind of use that bridging idea too, even in the kitchen, right? Their hand can be on yours, then your hand can be on theirs, then you can back away a little bit and suddenly they're using the sharp knife that they were afraid of. I hear this a lot with ovens too. My kids don't love it either, putting a big heavy thing into a big hot oven. But it's just step by step. And we have some pretty cool strategies in the eCourse that have gotten a lot of kids who were scared to not be scared and to actually finish that lesson when they didn't think they would. I think that's all the questions. So cool. Oh, wait, no, here's another one. If I start with one level, can I upgrade later? Yes. That was Tiffany's question. Yes, you can absolutely upgrade. Once you're in the member area, you can upgrade to VIP. You can upgrade to more levels if you start at beginner. And there's no like cost penalty. It's like the same cost you would spend today. So again, I want kids in the kitchen. I want to make this super accessible to you. My customer service team and I are on call today. If you just hit reply to any email that I've sent or will send you, you can get us for more questions. And again, thank you. Thank you, moms, dads, grandmas, daycare providers, all of you who came here today. I know that your heart is for your kids and for your kids' health, and I really honor and respect you for taking this time out of your day, and I'm so pleased that you made it here. Thank you so very much.